Somewhere between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico lies a stretch of ocean roughly 500,000 square miles wide, where, according to legend, ships and planes vanish without a trace. No wreckage, no survivors, no distress call. For decades, the Bermuda Triangle has been blamed for hundreds of disappearances, and explanations have ranged from alien abduction to the lost city of Atlantis pulling vessels beneath the waves. But when you strip away the myth and look at what science actually says, the truth is stranger in a different way, because the real answer is not one impossible force. It is several very ordinary ones, combining in a place almost perfectly designed to make things disappear. Let us start with where the legend even came from, because that matters. The Bermuda Triangle was not identified by scientists. It was popularized by writers. The name itself only appeared in the 1960s, and the mystery exploded into global fame in 1974 with a book by Charles Berlitz, which claimed that more than 1,000 lives had been lost in unexplained incidents. That book sold millions of copies. It also, according to later investigators, exaggerated, omitted context, and in some cases described ships as vanishing in calm weather when records showed violent storms at the time. That is the first crack in the mystery. Many of the famous cases were never actually unexplained. They were just retold without the inconvenient details. But some cases are genuinely haunting, and any honest look has to take them seriously. The most famous is Flight 19. In 1945, 5 United States Navy bombers took off from Florida on a training mission and never returned. All 14 airmen were lost. Then, in one of the cruelest twists in the whole story, a rescue plane sent to find them also disappeared, with 13 more men aboard. 27 men gone in a single day. And there is the USS Cyclops. In 1918, this massive Navy cargo ship, over 500 feet long, vanished with 306 people aboard. No wreckage was ever found. To this day, it remains the single largest loss of life in United States Navy history not directly caused by combat. Theories have included a cargo imbalance, a manganese explosion, mechanical failure, mutiny, a giant sea creature, and an attack by a German submarine, which Germany later denied. No final answer has ever been confirmed. So the mystery is not entirely invented. Real ships, real planes, and real people have been lost here. The question is whether that requires a supernatural explanation, or whether this particular patch of ocean is simply one of the most dangerous places on Earth to make a mistake. And when you look at the science, the case for the second answer becomes very hard to argue with. The first factor is the one almost nobody thinks about, and it might be the most important. It is not a force at all. It is traffic. This region is one of the most heavily traveled stretches of ocean on the planet. According to one oceanographer, roughly a third of all registered and privately owned ocean craft in the United States are based in the states and islands around the Bermuda Triangle area. When you have that many boats in one place, you will naturally have more accidents in that place, not because it is cursed, but because that is simply where the traffic is. And it gets worse, because it is not just the number of boats, it is who is in them. According to Coast Guard figures cited by researchers in one recent year, 82% of incidents in this area involved people who had no formal training or experience at sea. You do not need a license, a radio, or navigation equipment to take a boat out. Investigators have described encountering people navigating with a road map, relying on their mobile phones for communication, and then losing signal 30 miles offshore. Take a huge fraction of the entire recreational boating population of a country, place them in one warm, popular, storm-prone region, and mysterious vanishings are not a mystery. They are a statistic. That is the unglamorous foundation. But there are also real, natural hazards stacked on top of it, and this is where it gets genuinely interesting. The second factor is the weather, and specifically how fast it turns. The waters of the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico are warm, and warm water is fuel for storms. This region produces sudden, violent storm systems that can develop with very little warning. It is also prone to microbursts, powerful downward blasts of air that create dangerous wind shear, capable of producing winds over 100 miles per hour in a very small area. A microburst can slam a small plane toward the ocean or capsize a boat in seconds, and then be gone before anyone on shore even registers that the weather changed. A vessel caught in one might have no time to send a distress call at all. The third factor is the Gulf Stream, a powerful ocean current that originates in the Gulf of Mexico and moves with tremendous speed and force. Its surface can move at up to 2.5 meters per second. If a boat suffers engine trouble anywhere near it, the current can carry the vessel far from its last reported position. And just as importantly, it can sweep away any wreckage with astonishing speed. This is part of why searches so often come up empty. The evidence does not stay put. Within hours, debris can be carried miles from where a ship actually went down, so rescuers search the wrong patch of ocean and find nothing. The fourth factor is one of the most dramatic and also one of the most debated. Rogue waves. These are not ordinary large waves. A rogue wave forms when multiple wave systems converge and stack on top of one another, producing a single wall of water that can rise 2 or 3 times higher than the seas around it. Studies have suggested that under the right conditions, converging storms in the North Atlantic could generate rogue waves up to 30 meters high, nearly 100 feet. Laboratory simulations confirmed something chilling. A ship long enough could get caught suspended between 2 wave peaks with nothing supporting its middle and simply snap in half. A wave like that could sink even a very large vessel in moments, without survivors and without a signal. But here, honesty demands a caveat, and it is an important one. While rogue waves are absolutely real and have been documented elsewhere in the ocean, there is no definitive evidence tying a specific rogue wave to any specific Bermuda Triangle disaster. It is a plausible mechanism. It is not a proven culprit, and that pattern, plausible but unproven, comes up again and again in this story. The fifth factor is the strangest sounding, and it is the one the documentaries love. Methane. Beneath parts of the seafloor lie large deposits of methane gas, sometimes trapped as methane hydrates. The theory goes like this. If a pocket of this gas were suddenly released, it would surge upward and erupt at the surface, filling the water with bubbles. Water full of gas bubbles is far less dense than normal seawater, and a ship floating into that suddenly aerated water could lose its buoyancy and sink almost instantly before the crew could react. Laboratory experiments have shown that a scale model ship can indeed be sunk this way, by reducing the density of the water beneath it. Some have even speculated that if enough methane reached the air, it could affect aircraft engines or ignite. It is a genuinely fascinating idea, but once again, the honest scientific position is cautious. One researcher pointed out that while it could theoretically happen, no experiment has proven it actually occurs in the Bermuda Triangle, and there are many places in the world with seafloor methane where ships are not mysteriously vanishing. So methane remains a maybe, not a confirmed answer. Then there is the compass. You will often hear that the Bermuda Triangle is one of the few places on Earth where a magnetic compass points to true north rather than magnetic north. This part is rooted in something real. For much of history, in this region, true geographic north and magnetic north lined up along what is called the agonic line. Normally, a navigator has to correct for the difference between the two. Near the agonic line, a sailor accustomed to always applying that correction might apply it when they should not and drift off course. Combine that with the shallow, island-strewn, reef-filled waters of the Caribbean, and a small navigational error can put a boat aground on a hidden shoal. But notice what this explanation is not. It is not evidence of a bizarre magnetic anomaly warping the laws of physics. Scientists have looked repeatedly for unusual magnetic disturbances in the Bermuda Triangle, and the answer is consistent. There are none. The nearest genuine magnetic anomaly of that kind is roughly 1,000 miles away, off the coast of Brazil. The compass explanation is about ordinary navigation and human error, not a supernatural force field. So, step back and look at what we actually have. A stretch of ocean, packed with more boats than almost anywhere else, many piloted by people with no training, weather that can turn violent in minutes, a current that drags both vessels and their wreckage far from where they were last seen, rogue waves that can snap a ship in half, seafloor gas that can, at least in theory, swallow a boat whole, and a navigational quirk that has fooled sailors for centuries. None of these individually explains every case, but together, layered on top of one another in one region, they do not leave much that needs a supernatural explanation, and this is the part the legend never mentions. The United States Coast Guard and the Navy do not officially recognize the Bermuda Triangle as a distinct hazardous zone at all. It does not appear on their maps as anything special. Insurance companies do not charge higher rates to ships passing through it. And multiple analyses have concluded that vessels and aircraft go missing in the Bermuda Triangle at about the same rate as any other heavily traveled stretch of ocean of similar size. Statistically, it may be no more dangerous than the traffic it carries would predict anywhere else on Earth. So, what is really happening in the Bermuda Triangle? The unsatisfying and somehow more interesting answer is that nothing supernatural is happening at all. What is happening is the ocean being the ocean, in a place where a lot of people, many of them unprepared, meet fast weather, strong currents, and deep water, and where a good story took hold and never let go, and yet the legend survives. It survives because a handful of cases, like Flight 19 and the USS Cyclops, still do not have a tidy, confirmed ending, and the human mind hates an unfinished story. It survives because the ocean genuinely does take people, and sometimes gives nothing back. And it survives because, deep down, a world with a mysterious triangle in it is more thrilling than a world explained by statistics and bad weather. The science has, for the most part, solved the Bermuda Triangle. The mystery is not why ships vanish there. The mystery is why, even now that we know, we still want so badly to believe that something down there is waiting.